important thing is a win, and I don't want to lose sight of that, because wins are not easy to come by. And it was a hard-fought one. I know the score at the end of it doesn't quite look as, like it was for sure in the first half, but I'm going to make sure I remind those guys, I had to remind those guys in the locker room that, winning is not easy, and you got to enjoy this, especially in a rivalry week. Coming off of what happened to us last week, and maybe a little shook at some point in time, and it kind of showed early in the game maybe. But really excited about the way that these guys came in at halftime and came out the second half and really found a way. We were down 10-0 and then roll off 28 unanswered. Things kind of came together, and we really, to me, some of the voices and some of the attitudes at halftime right in here, I think was really the difference for us. And hopefully it's a big growing step for us, and learn a lot from a win, because it wasn't clean. And I know we got some things to be able to get on ourselves about and get on each other about, and take into a bye week most importantly, and see if we can't hopefully get some of these nicks and bruises up and back, and find a way to get ourselves back into a rhythm to play cleaner, to put our best foot forward.
What does it say about just your team's character after that slow start? Like you said, come in here and...
Yeah, I think that's the thing that you see from us. And I wanted to be able to see. I didn't want to do it this way. I didn't want to be down 10-0 and really be the kind of lethargic. And and I give them credit now. They did a good job. I mean, they moved the ball, in the second and third series, and controlled it a little bit, and kept our offense off the field too, which I think is a big deal. But we just couldn't find a rhythm between penalties and shooting ourselves in the foot at times in that first half until we made some big plays. I think it was just a little bit of tough sledding for us.
Was there any plays or moments that stick out that helped you guys get settled?
Well, I don't know about. I mean, I think that obviously the touchdown right before halftime, going for it on 4th and 4, trusting and believing that the defense, and that's the right place and the right time to take some of the shots at us and to hit it when we needed to. I think that was it was a confidence boost, or I'm not saying it was a momentum shift, but in a lot of ways it was, and it brought us into halftime not playing very well, but still being ahead. And when you can look back at it and you can say you didn't play very well, you didn't play very clean, and there's a lot of things you got to do better, and you're up 14-10 in a rivalry game, and they're playing probably pretty clean, and come out the second half and really kind of put on the way we did, or the way those guys did. It shows the character.
Luke, going back to your previous stop at Ohio State, you don't lose rivalry games, haven't for a long time. What is your mindset about rivalry games and just the approach you had to continue, even here at UC, to keep the streak down?
I'm glad you didn't look at my record as a player, so obviously I learned a lot, hopefully, as a player in rivalry games. But it's number one thing, I've said it all week, it's respect. I don't think there's anything different from it. I made a point to the guys in the team and called Mets out and said, stand up, where are you from? Obviously Germany. Have any idea what this rivalry is about or the history of it, other than what he learned in camp? No, never grew up about it, and that's not what it's about. I didn't either. I didn't know a whole lot about it before I came here, but it has nothing to do with it. It's about the respect you have for your opponent and everything that you do, and understand that it lasts a long time, and these are the kinds of things that you'll talk about. Regardless if you're from Florida or you're from Columbus, Ohio, like I was, and still didn't know enough about the rivalry. But when you take part in it, when you own the Seapaw, and it's a big deal to you. And I think our guys believe in what it is that we tell them, and they showed the way they worked at it. It didn't show as much in the first half, I understand, but I think it showed in what it really meant, and it showed up a lot at halftime.
Who were some of those voices you mentioned in here?
I mean, obviously Mike Warren does a great job. Brian Wright stepped up for us, and from both sides of the ball, when those guys can kind of come together and you see that little energy and spark. We talk about a big deal for us, that positive leadership. I know we got the momentum right there to go 14-10, but it still didn't feel like, that this thing was like last year. We were up 7-0 at half, and I mean, we had tons of momentum in at halftime. Just the way you were playing, and you thought you really had control of it. I don't know that anybody thought that as we came in here, and those guys made sure they kind of rallied both sides of the locker room together, and it came out the second half and showed.
Is there pressure to win this game when you've won it 13, 14 times in a row, because everyone pretty much pencils you guys in as winning the game?
Well, I think pressure is what you put on yourself. But I sensed it a little bit in the locker room afterwards. It was almost like a little bit more of a relief as it was of an excitement. And so true to form, I told him, don't be like me sometimes. You don't enjoy the fruits of your labor and what you've worked for just because it might not have gone the exact way you planned it in your head. But I think that's a part of it. That's sometimes when the expectations start to hit, you expect for it to, to be a dominant 35-14 game or whatever. 13. Don't want to give him an extra point. So I sense that a little bit, but I think we talk about ourselves. There's a difference between pressure and stress, and I'm okay with pressure. We just can't let it affect us in a negative way that it becomes stress.
You talk a lot about playing clean going into the bye week. Is there an emphasis on that that's going to be there?
I don't want to sit here and tell you that again because I've said it over and over and over again, and yet we go out there and have 11 penalties. So it's just something we got to do. As me, myself, and the coaches have got to do a lot better job of. And I know that's going to come a little bit more with some more experience, but even late in the games, and some of our older guys, just the ability to stay focused and locked in. Look, I tell them all the time, we're an aggressive team. We want to be aggressive. I don't want to be a passive team. I don't want you worrying about getting a late hit or something like that. I don't want to be the least penalized team, just meaning that I don't want them to be passive. I don't ever want them to be, I want to be aggressive, but I want them to be smart. And I think that we right now don't quite understand the difference between being aggressive and being smart, and especially late in games.
How do you feel about the offensive line right now? We saw Ferguson, Metz flip, and then you had Benny in there in the second half. I mean, where's that group at?
I think that we're still trying to find what's the best combo. Some guys do some things well, and some guys, struggle with some other things. But that's all. That's the look on us too. In this bye week, we got to do a good job at kind of evaluating ourselves and putting our guys in situations that they can be more successful. And I know we can't protect everybody, and it's like defense. You can't. I know we don't have James Wiggins, so we got to play maybe a little bit different sometimes. Just at that spot that's so critical for us. And I think it's similar for us offensively. We got a philosophy of what we want to be able to do, and sometimes we got to make sure that we're putting our guys in a situation that we believe they can be successful.
After last week, as far as Mike Ward, what is a performance like this coming back? Getting a lot of yards with the new confidence.
Yeah, I think that this is Mike, and it really kind of shows who Mike is. And there's a 2-yard or a 3-yard. There wasn't a whole lot of momentum. We can all look at the final yardage and say, oh, you had 113 yards or 116 only shorting, and it's 74 of them or 72 of them are on one run, which is who Mike sometimes is. It's not going to be easy sled. There's not going to be gigantic holes in there sometimes, but when you wear on people, then you have a guy like Mike that continues to go and fight, and all of a sudden he's breaking out for 72 or 74 yards. So I think that's a credit to Mike as who he is, but also I think in that philosophy of we got to be able to wear on people and be really good in the second half.
Going forward on 4th down here late in the game, what was the thought process on that?
Which one? We did like
the end.
It was 4th and 13 in the 4th quarter instead of kicking the field goal.
I did really to keep the clock rolling. We want to be able to be aggressive, and it's right there at the line. How far we want to be able to take shots, and I want to put him in some situations he can continue to gain his confidence as well. Crosa with that, and it just wasn't the wind was swirling a little bit at the time, and the way the game was and the clock was. I said, what, we're fine. Let's just keep trying to pound it on this thing out.
You kept the bell in the closet in your office?
It moves around. Like I said, I don't know always where it's at, but I know this. It's at the University of Cincinnati, and it's been there for 14 years. It'll be there for another year.
Yeah.
It'll travel with us to camp. We'll bring it out at times. It'll be on Miss Sherry's desk tomorrow as she paints it. I'm sure she'll send a little Twitter out of painting the bell, and we'll enjoy it and have some fun with it. But like I said, it's all about when that week comes, of understanding and respecting the rivalry.
So you pull it out at certain strategic times?
It is. There might be a day in spring ball where, hey, this is a Miami day. Like I said, in camp, there's only a couple, things that we really prepare for. And last year was unique. We had Navy, so there were some things we did. This year was about the first game, and it was about this game. And, so again, it's understanding the history of it, but also respecting the history of it. That we want to make sure the things that we put in front of our guys, they believe is important.
You ever try to lift it by yourself?
I haven't. They were
very heavy.
I said, hey, why took you guys so long to get up? Coach, we were getting the bell. It's heavy. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just leave that to you guys. But if you get you all up to the locker room faster, I'll put it on my back and I'll bring it up next time. You don't think so?
It's heavy.
I got a bad back.
It's heavy.
Thank you, guys. Players,
Appreciate it. Thanks.